Hi, Lwandiso. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well, Andrew, and I don't want to say I'm doing well. I'm fine, but it's just that I'm not boxing fine. But yeah, I'm fine. Personally, I'm fine as a person. We have I'm in good spirit. Yeah.
Now, Lwandiso, you're the General Secretary of the Western Cape Open Boxing Organisation. What does that job entail?
We actually currently responsible to administer amateur boxing, recently known as open boxing within the Western Cape. We are a structure that is affiliated to the national body, which is SANABO. SANABO, who is in turn affiliated to the African Confederation and AIBA. So, as the Secretary General of the Western Cape, I'm responsible for mainly communication administration and also to get our what we can call administrative issues of boxing across the province, specifically catering for our amateur boxers, catering for our coaches, catering for our officials, administrators, and boxing fraternity at large. You see, so it's quite vast because it does not only deal with issues of administration, but also with issues of development of boxing in all its facets.
Now, one of your roles, isn't it, is to promote and monitor the rights of vulnerable groups. And how important do you think boxing can play a part in that?
I will speak from the perspective of South Africans of Africa. We don't have a lot of opportunities as we grow. We don't have a lot of opportunities that can actually make us better individuals. So from time to time, that is actually found in sports. We found that in sports. And I would like to speak specifically about boxing. Now, when you go to our communities, you find out that most of our kids are vulnerable in a sense that their parents don't actually have formal jobs, which means in turn, they can't actually cater for their education. They can't cater for food. They can't cater simple basic human rights like your clothing and education to some extent. So some of our kids actually find a place where they can call home in boxing, because boxing sometimes does actually promote sort of give an opportunity, promote that opportunity for them to be able to go to school, to be able to have something to wear, to be able to alleviate certain pressures from the parents, because parents at most times they need to be everything to these kids. But once they actually come to boxing and other sporting codes, for example, will actually get a place where their upbringing can actually be made even better. Even though it's not 100%, but at least through boxing and through other sporting codes, these kids are able to to get some sort of so how can I put it? Some sort of an idea of saying you are important, some sort of idea of them feeling important.
Can you just give us a small snapshot of what Cape Town's like in the area?
Cape Town it's a place that is still divided within the old regime set up, which is a well-renowned or well-known as apartheid. So the apartheid system has actually desegregated our areas into areas where it's going to be predominantly what do you call it kind of dominated by certain racial groupings, like your white area, even though it is open to everyone, but you can still see that in terms of the infrastructure, in terms of opportunities, white people in certain areas are still predominant. Now, coming back to boxing, the same qualities that would have been received by, let's say, a white boxer or a white club-owned boxer, it's totally different from the opportunities that a colored boxing or a boxer would receive. Some likewise with black clubs. So right now, I don't want to be jumping the gun, but I know you're going to be speaking about COVID-19, the way it actually affected us. It's not the same. It's not the same. We have actually said to our coaches, for example, coaches, you need to have Zoom, you need to have other means of social kind of communication apps. But we actually got hit very hard because most of our coaches don't have smartphones. They can't afford data. They can't actually Even the boxers, they don't have these sort of phones, and they're not actually well learned on how to actually utilize all these mechanisms. But if you go to a white dominated kind of an area with a white club, which is affluent with these sort of mechanisms, it's not they're not happy with it, but at least they're getting some momentum going with regards to promotion and of boxing.
Obviously, the big person that changed South Africa and the world was Nelson Mandela, and you share some very similar characteristics. You're an advocate, where you work in law, don't you, with human rights, and
Yes.
you're both boxers. You both enjoy boxing.
Whenever you go around the world, you know this. I mean, Nelson Mandela, we call him Tata Nelson Mandela because that's what we actually, it's a matter of actually respect to him, to the name, not only to him as a person, but to his ancestors or to his parents, because they brought him to us as the world. So Tata Mandela was, as you would have known that he was also a boxer at some point. He utilized boxing to actually, as a manner of actually discipline. He was also a lawyer himself. He was within law himself. So to hear about his name within the sport sector, boxing sector, as well as within my professional sector and around the world, it actually makes me feel, that I have what it takes to also change the world. And the only thing I can do right now is to use boxing, and that's what has been happening. And boxing has been what do you call it? It has been that element on which I could impart to the communities. It has been my gift to the community, to say, let's utilize boxing to better our lives. You see, so attach that to what Mandela used to do and what Mandela was within the boxing sector. It makes me feel proud, really, of being an African, of being part of boxing, given the fact that he was also part of the same kind of how can I put it? Same project that he was part of. We are also part of it. Yeah.
Lwandiso, I saw one of your comments that you said that it's important for people to give back to the communities as well, like you're doing, and supporting boxing. A sport that you loved as a young person, you're now putting your time and effort into. Do you think that's important?
It's very important, and it's very important because we are nothing without our communities. Our communities have sacrificed a lot. And when I'm talking about our communities, we have a system, we have a concept here in Africa that says, Umtu ngumtu ngabantu. It means a person is a person through other people. It also resonates around the concept of Ubuntu, meaning humanity. We have that basic principle in Africa that actually connects us with everyone that will actually set their foot in South Africa, in Africa specifically. So when you grow up in a community that is disadvantaged, you owe to get back to the community once you become successful and actually plow back. Now, plowing back, there's a lot of ways in which we can plow back, but most of us don't have a lot of means. We only have sports. We only have boxing. We only have maybe the skills that we've learned from our official work. So from time to time, we do go back to the communities. And actually, for example, in my line of work, I have to teach people on their rights. I have to teach people on how to actually how to exercise their rights and what they need to do in order to protect their families and also to protect themselves. So from time to time, I have to do that. It's not really it's difficult with boxing because within my line of work, I'm funded by government. But when it comes to boxing, and I would have loved to do this thing on daily basis, on maybe on a weekly basis, to go back to the communities and just gather around, about 50 kids. We line them up. We just teach them how to do boxing, because through that teaching, we can teach them to be disciplined as well. We can teach them that there is future. There's a lot of opportunities that you can get right now, which were not presented previously. But it's difficult, Henry, to do so because we don't have funds to do so. We can try, but we don't have funds. We try, and you get tired after a while when you don't get any assistance. but then our hearts are still with our kids, are still with our communities. Hence, from time to time, we always go back to the communities. We are community-based sports.
A lot of these clubs in the Western Cape needed more volunteers. I know in England, most of the clubs survive off the help that they get from volunteers. There's not much money in amateur boxing. Is it the same over there?
Just nailed it. You nailed it on the you know what you call on the head. It is, that's the only way in which we can actually grow this sport. It's one of the ways, but I say again, it's one of the ways. We have a lot of students that would have graduated at universities, technical universities. They have the expertise. They've studied sports. They've a lot of opportunity. What do you call it? A lot of skills, a lot of opportunities. It would be ideal that we actually invite them to volunteer within our sports. And I know, and I'm 100% sure that if we could get a lot of support from that kind of a sector, we will actually promote our sport and it will actually become better than it was.
You do one of the hardest jobs, which you referee, don't you, boxing matches, and you're an official, a thankless job, and full credit to you for doing that. Do you need more people doing that as well in the Western Cape?
I had no choice because of the lack of volunteers. And it does not make sense when you look at the demographic and the number of people, the population within the Western Cape. We have a lot of people. We have a lot of people in the Western Cape. But I think somehow the sport has not actually promoted itself to actually invite more of them. I'll give you some statistics. We have about 88, if not 89 clubs within the Western Cape. I think I stand to be corrected. We have about roughly 600 plus boxers, or maybe 800 plus boxers, but we could only register about 600 for argument's sake. Within this membership, I don't think it would have been rocket science to say each and every club should have an official, should have an administrator that can actually be part of the Western Cape. Then we can say we have 89 judges, we have 89 officials who can ref or judge. Now, if that was possible, I would know you would not see myself refereeing. I would rather concentrate on administration. But because of lack of, of people, volunteers within the sport, it becomes difficult for us to carry on. But we push, and we want to have more. I agree with you, and that's my answer to you. Please, if people could listen to that and just come. We will train them. We will take them through courses where they can get equipped, and they will enjoy it in a while as they go on with boxing.
And are you the person to contact?
Sorry?
Are you the person to contact for that?
Yes. As a Secretary General, I'm the person to contact. But what I do, I take all that information and then I send it to our chairman for ref and judges. And luckily, our president is very, very kind of hands-on when it comes to training, because he's the one that conducts the training. And his name is Mr. Andrew Lebuhang Pukeng. He's also Andrew.
And just switching it now, what age did you start boxing, Lwandiso?
Okay, I started boxing in Tanzania. It was actually by default. I'm sure you'd have heard the Mecca of boxing in South Africa is known as Tanzania. It's in Eastern Cape. To be honest with you, in Tanzania, we did not have a certain age where you can start boxing. If you are old enough, I mean, if you could be able to, you did not even need a gym to actually box in Tanzania. You just needed to be born in Tanzania, and you needed to be a kid that plays with other kids on the streets, because we started boxing in the streets. I started when I was young. I think about 13, if not, about 13. But I did not start as a boxer. I started as a child who was being bullied. So I had no choice other than to fold my fist, because I've seen in my road we had a boxer that was also a contender for some national titles. His name was Tembile Lubisi. So he would go to gym. When he comes back to gym, he will bring us his gloves. So I remember we are about 15 kids that will wait for him to come back from gym, run about 5 o'clock later. And then we will take one glove and the other one will take the other glove, and then we have to spar using only one. Sometime he would not actually come back with the gloves, but then we used to use, we used to make our own gloves out of paper and plastic. And but as I grew, I started joining a club called Sekunjalo, and I think I was about 15. I was 15, if not again 14. I did not like, because the sparring, it was very hard. Remember in the past, you won't believe this, but we didn't use the head guards. There were no headgears, and the quality of gloves was not good at all. So I stopped boxing afterwards, and then I decided, no, I'm going to concentrate on other sporting codes that don't require me to be punched. At the age of 17, I came to Cape Town. By the age of 18, I started again boxing, and since then, up until I stopped boxing, then I was just participating. So yeah.
You reached national level. You was one of the top boxers in South Africa then.
Yeah. I went to national level, and then I fought my last fight. The international fights that I fought was in South Africa, as well as in Russia, Kazan. In Russia, that was my last international fight. I fought it was a World Student Games. I think it was 2003, if I'm not mistaken. 2003. It was just a few months after we had our Olympics in Beijing. So it was quite a good experience. I remember sharing ring with guys like Alexis, who's actually a WPC middleweight champion right now. And so that was my last. And then I came back to South Africa. And when I came back to South Africa, I participated nationally as well. And but before that, I also had an opportunity to do kickboxing, and I also participated internationally, as I went to the All Africa Games, and I got a silver medal losing against a kickboxer from Algeria.
Lwandiso, I'm always intrigued what that feeling is like when you're representing your country, like you represented South Africa. How proud did that make you feel?
Wow, Andrew, when you go to a country that, for starters, that is not used to Africans, as just like you earlier mentioned Mandela, it was actually similar. When you went internationally, the first thing that you hear is Nelson Mandela. So we were not only representing, in fact, I didn't feel like we were only representing our country or only boxing. I felt like we were representing Africa as a whole. And that, for me, it meant that I needed to actually give all my best, so that the world can see that as Africans, we are actually a force to be reckoned as well within the sport fraternity. Not that it was gonna be the first time, but we went there with the perception that we have actually proven ourselves within the world paradigm, or world stage, that we are actually. We have the skill, we have the talent, we have the drive, but I felt proud really to be representing my country. When you're looking at the flag, and you're wearing the flag, you're wearing your national colors. For me, immediately I thought of my ancestors. I thought of the spirits that, that would have loved to be here, and everything, and all the ideas that we actually are promoting, all our atrocities that we're facing at home. It all came on my mind, to say, I need not to think too much of such. I actually need to take that experience and motivate me to win. Not that I won though, but you know what? I felt like I accomplished a lot by being at the world stage.
And which professional boxers did you look up to? South Africa's had some very good ones. Brian Mitchell, Jerry Coetzee, Baby Jake Matala.
Those ones that you mentioned, but I must tell you that, as I told you that I grew up in Tanzania. As a child, I never thought there were better boxers in the world than boxers that are coming from my hometown. And I can tell you about Welcome Nita. You might have heard of Welcome Nita. One of the best that you could ever find in South Africa. I think it was a bantamweight, if not junior bantamweight. Round about that, we have Vuyani Bungu, the beast. Also coming from Tanzania, we have Mbulelo Potile. those are the guys that actually kind of carve the way, forward for us, because I don't think there's any boxer from Tanzania who did not aspire to follow their trail. There's lots of them. There's lots of them, but I can mention those three, and there's lots of others that actually came through, especially the guys from open boxing, the ones that actually went for Olympics. I'm talking about your my Hawk Makepula. You know, Hawk Makepula, Maspulela Makepula was one of the first from Tanzania who to qualify and actually go to the Olympics. So since then, I told myself I want to get to those Olympics. You know, there's lots of them in South Africa. We have Philip Ndo, we have Ivan Bushalu. You know, within the province as well, we had guys like Theo Modise, who also won a Commonwealth gold medal.
What benefits did it do for you as a person, and what benefits do you think it gives young people?
I don't think it is understood by a lot of people whenever I tell them, especially the young kids, because whether we like it or not, the young kids are looking up to us. They want to do what we do. They want to drive what we drive. They want to wear what we wear. And I always tell them, especially boxers, that guys, I was in your situation. I was in this setup. I was bullied at some point as a child, and I actually grew up thinking that I was dumb because I was told many times that I'm dumb, you know. But today I'm an advocate. You know, I studied, and my parents did not have enough, but they tried to assist me in getting funds to study. But I also got a fund for being a boxer. I boxed at the University of the Western Cape, and they paid some. They assisted my tuition fees as well. Of course, not 100%, but they gave something towards that, and it actually assisted me in completing my degree. I didn't finish my degree in record time because I had to juggle both boxing as well as and you know, once you an elite boxer, a lot of people don't understand. You have to train 3 times a day. There's a different set of training regime that you must go through, but you also need to study at the same time. You know, I've done all of these, and it actually taught me how to be disciplined. It taught me time management. It taught me how to actually respect your coaches, because once you respect your coach, you will respect your parents. If you respect your coach and you respect your parents, you'll be able to respect your lecturer or your teacher. And if that comes now in a foundation that is better prepared from a young age, it could not make me anything other than a better person. So those are the qualities that you actually get from boxing that I got.
Why do you love the sport? You've stayed connected to it. You carried on after your international career, and you're official now. Why do you love the sport? Why have you stayed connected?
You know, it might seem to be an easy question, but it's not. It's not an easy question. I remember me and my friend who also turned professional. We were boxers. We went to fight in Oudtshoorn here in the Western Cape. It was a final for our provincial team. We slept the other night, and then we had a chat because we shared a room. And he said to me, Lwandiso, why must we always suffer like this? We have to lose weight. We have to maintain weight. Our muscles are sore. We get hit. Your nose, sometimes it bleeds, and we get bruises. And then the following day, we back at it again. Why do we go back? And then I said, to be honest, I don't know. I don't know why. It's in me, man. It's within me. But as time went by, of course, being asked a lot of questions of this nature, I happened to grow and actually start now to be able to explain why. So one of the reasons why I'm still in love with boxing, I'm still with boxing, is because boxing happened to be the lifestyle which actually made me a better person. It made me, as I said, to be able to respect my parents. It made me to be able to understand myself. It made me to be able to actually take any challenge that is put in front of me. The idea of not knowing, of not knowing if you're gonna finish the round, of not knowing if you're gonna be finishing the program that you are given for the day, that you know what you call that suspense you have in life. You don't know You are hoping that you're going to start your January and finish December and have nice brides and nice family times within December, but you don't know. But as time goes by, there are a lot of challenges that are coming to you. So I count that as round number one, round number two, round number three, and I apply it in my life, and then boxing made me to be able to, as it is known to be an individual sport, but I always said no, it is a team sport. But just like life, you live your life on your own because you were born on your own. But people around you and the people that you need to rely to actually make you win life are actually people that you need to listen to. Just like you need to listen to your corner, to your coach, to your manager, because those are the people that will actually give you better kind of advices because they see the fight from a different angle. Same applies in life. You have your mother, you have your spouse, you have your friends who actually sees life in a different kind of angle. So it made me so boxing was actually a catalyst on what I am today, and I would not actually trade it for anything else. Boxing, got the vote. Boxing got me to be who I am right now, and I can't actually take anything back.
Well, you explained that fantastic, Lwandiso, and I know it's your dream that each of the 9 provinces of South Africa has a boxing academy to help the national team. But I wish you all the best with that.
Wow, yo, Andrew, now that is a fight. That is a fight that I will continue fighting. We want to have a national academy that will specifically focus in boxing. I believe that countries like Cuba, countries like USA, Britain, a lot of countries, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, there's a lot of countries, Russia, they have an academic setup, an academy set up when it comes to boxing. And as I said again, everybody will agree with me. South Africa has lots of talent, lots and lots of raw talent. I mean, you can easily get right now, you can walk down the street in Eastern Cape and Tanzania to be specific and get a guy who can fight, but only using one hand, who has been fighting through. I mean, not that I'm condoning street fight, but I'm saying you can actually get a quality of a raw talent, someone that was never trained, but is able to fight only with one fist, one hand. So we do need actually academy set up in South Africa. I would love, as you say, I would love if it was actually put in each province, because of course our country is very big, and it will also create opportunities for Team South Africa to invite countries to come and actually participate within the country, and they could rotate around. It will also create job opportunities for our coaches. We have international coaches, internationally qualified coaches. But if you ask me right now, how many of them are getting some financial support based on their qualification, I can tell you that it's zero. Why is that? At this point in time, I can't really tell you why it's that, but I'm saying I don't want to be pointing fingers at our government, but I want to first point fingers at us as administrators and say, are we doing enough for our coaches? Are we doing enough for our boxing? Are we doing enough for our kids? Do we aspire to qualify 10 boxers or 5 boxers within the next Olympics? If that's the case, what plan do we have? We need to actually put in place all these things. And now I'm saying this, and I'm happy that I'm saying it out there. If anybody comes to me and say the reason why we don't have that academy set up is because of finances, I say I don't accept that. We have a lot of business people around. We have a lot of the private sector is very, very welcome in developing any area. Specific functional academy, but there's not even one province that can say, boast and say, we have
such. That's a real shame, and I wish you the best of luck with that. Thank you so much, Lwandiso, for doing the interview, and all the best with your boxing career.
No, thanks to you, Andrew, and I hope that you would have actually enjoyed our interview. But more importantly, I know right now it's almost like I'm crying and I'm putting out there our challenges. but there is a big room for improvement. We do have what it takes, and maybe next interview you have with me, I'll be singing from a different hymn book. I'll be showing you what we've done after this interview, and I'm hoping that this COVID-19 regulations could just come to aid us as well. You know, we're hungry for boxing. We can't wait to resume boxing.